It works, and then we will make a start. And we will go from there. Have they just been out and about, Andy? Is that where they've been?
Have you all been out?
You've all been out?
Yeah, I went to see my went to see the manager, Michael.
Oh yeah? How did that go?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. We was just making sure everything was ordered, and he said I think by tomorrow or the next day I should be getting my terminal and that stuff, the business cards and stuff.
My RM's got his mother's funeral tomorrow, so I'm not meeting John until next week.
Yep, that makes sense. That's fair enough then. Don't let it be a blocker there. Meeting your team manager, yeah. Get yourself out and about. I can honestly say the best thing for you guys for meeting up your manager next week would be to have some appointments in the bag already, and you can kind of converse about them when you meet up with your manager next week.
I've got one booked within half an hour of John's house.
Very nice. On his doorstep.
Mm.
He'll probably know the owner, actually. Oh. And are we missing anyone? Or are we good to go?
Mufti. We're definitely missing Mufti.
Okay. One
Fresh.
moment.
And Alex, if he was going to turn up, he's a 3. He doesn't require to be here.
Cool. Alrighty, I'm going to make a start. Conscious of everyone's time. So, guys, thank you for joining. Reason I'm jumping on this call and I'm sort of taking the lead on this one, we've had a recent shift in our commission structure, which is actually hasn't kicked in yet. So I'm going to explain a bit of a sort of transition, a bit of a crossover between commission schemes that we're running. But I've been the one that's been training out the new scheme, so I thought I'd hop on and be able to answer any questions you guys have about the new scheme too. So probably my favorite session to train you guys on, unfortunately for me taking Andy's thunder. This is the fun one because, of course, this is explaining and showing you guys what it actually means by working here at SumUP, right? All the hard work that you're putting in, all that hard work, what are you going to get for it, right? You've learned the product, you're starting to learn things about merchant onboarding, pricing, territory management, sales conversations, all that good stuff. So what does it all actually mean when you put it all together? Well, this is where the commission scheme kicks in. And this is what I want to take you through now. Now, I'm going to jump in before I do so. There's a couple of different things to explain. Now, one is with SumUP's commission scheme. It's not just simply, hey, you've done a deal, here's a bunch of money, right? We pay you based on what we call our actuals. So what I mean by that is we pay you based on the turnover and the profits that SumUP actually makes. You get a portion of that. So we don't wing it. We don't just pull numbers out of thin air. We don't undercut you. We don't overpay you. So it's very much scalable as a business point of view from SumUP, and it's the right amount of money for you, which is great. If you sign up a fantastically large deal, you get paid massively for it. If you sign up a lower deal, you'll get paid still well, but lower for it because you're going to get paid on what they actually do. Now, we always say here at SumUP, your ICP, and that stands for Ideal Customer Profile, okay, that's the customer that we want to target, should be around the 15K a month mark. The 15K a month mark is around what you want to aim for. That's that sweet spot. 15K a month puts you in a great position where you're dealing with a great merchant. He's not going to take up a considerable amount of your time to close, and you're going to get rewarded nicely for it, handsomely for it. If you're looking at those massively large deals, absolutely, I still encourage you to go for them. But when you're looking at deals that are like 100, 200 grand a month, just, of course, be mindful they take a while to close because it's not just one individual. You're dealing with directors, CEOs, account managers, regional managers, all sorts of people. 15K is that sweet spot. Now, why not lower? Well, you don't get paid as much, right? Now, the reason we say it's 15K on average is because that means not every single business is going to be 15K, right? Sometimes you'll get a smaller business. Maybe you'll get a 7K hairdresser. Sometimes you'll get a 33K butcher or a 45K garage. if you're trying to average out, try and average out around 15K. We obviously aim for the larger ones and pick up the other ones on your way. Because if you're aiming for one of these, fantastic. But signing up 3 of these is still worth lower than signing up 1 of those. All right? So just try and get that in your mind, that 15K ICP. That's that sweet spot that we want to aim for. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind. Now let me run through the commissions with you. So first of all, we pay you in a couple of different ways. We pay you based on actual earnings that SumUp make. We pay you based on true reflection of the profits that SumUp earns. We pay you based on that. We pay you in different ways. We call it a multifaceted plan. We pay you based on payments. That's the actual sign-up of the deal. Hardware, the selling of the readers and the equipment. Software, so any licenses. And then such as we also pay on referrals. So if you refer deals into inside sales, you'll get paid on that. And also for referring your fellow reps. If there's a scheme ongoing, you'd get paid if they, if they start performing too. So there's different ways you guys can earn money. What we want to do with this plan is we want to continue what we've currently been doing. So this isn't really something for you, it's more for our existing guys, but we will still allow you guys to apply discounts. We give you guys the flexibility to do that. We don't just pull deals in and say, right now you can only offer a discount or only this point. We'll give you the flexibility to offer discounts. We might give you sometimes more options to offer larger discounts, but we will give you that flexibility to offer discounts too. And because of the way our scheme works, it really, really reduces the amount of clawbacks that can happen in this industry if you wasn't aware. Because of course, if we massively overpay you because you tell us the deal is going to be a 300 grand a month deal and it's not, we pay you a huge amount of money. We then would have to bring that back, because otherwise it's just not feasible for SumUp. But the way we do our commission schemes, if that doesn't happen, or is very, very limited because of the way we actually pay you. And I'm going to explain that too. All right. So, first and foremost, at SumUp, before I get into your commissions, there are things known as programs. Now, this is something that is kicking off on October 6th. October 6th is when this commission scheme here is going to kick into play, which is probably what's going to impact all of the deals you sign up. I appreciate you might have a deal in the pipeline already, but I'll explain why. Its likelihood is it'll fall into the new bracket and not this one. But programs are what I want you to remember. Now we have here at SumUp 2 programs. We have what we call the partner program and the agent program. Now what are these? So these programs determine, 1, how much money you can earn, the kind of benefits you will get, and the way they're worked out is based on commitment, and they're based on sort of, consistency, right? You're consistently putting deals on the table. That's what determines the different programs. So first and foremost, we have the partner program. The partner program, folks, is where you want to be, right? We call it a partnership between you and SumUp. So we call it partner program. Now, this requires you to do 10 activations in the last 2 full calendar months. What's an activation? An activation is a deal that has processed £500 within the first 30 days of going active. So it's not just a deal signed up, it's a deal that's committing to using SumUp, so they've processed £500 within 30 days of going active. That classes as what we call an activation. Now, the partner program is 10 activations in the last 2 full calendar months. That then determines what your partner will be for that month. So taking, for example, this month, October the 1st, what SumUp would do is it would look back at September and August. It would add up the activations, and that's what's going to determine the program for October. Okay, so right now we're in October. 1st of October, obviously, was yesterday. So what SumUp's done for all of our existing reps is it looks back at September, looks back at August, checked how many activations those reps have done. If they've done 10 or more, they will then fall into partner for the month of October. In the month of November, SumUp will do the same thing. On the 1st of November, this time around, it will look at how many activations reps have done in the month of October and the month of September. Add them together. And if that's 10 or more in the month of November, they'll be in partner. If it's less than 10, they'll be an agent. Okay, guys, can I just get some thumbs up, thumbs down, confused face emojis? Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. Brilliant. Now, no one's jumped at me yet, but no one's asked this question. Well, what about you guys, right? How are we going to determine you guys? You don't have a backlog of customers. So, You guys have joined at a very interesting time. For the very first 3 full calendar months of you being with us, you will be in the partner program by default. Now, because you joined on the 30th of September, okay, technically, this does mean that you're in a calendar month right now. This is no, it wasn't. No, it's wrong. I've done it wrong, haven't I? No, actually, no. So it's going to push it back a month. So because you joined in the 30th of September, yeah, I've got that right. Your first full calendar month will be the month after. So you'll be in partner this month, because you start off in partner anyway, because we can't work out anything. And you'll be in partner for the month of November, for December, and for January. Okay?
Yep.
In the month of February, on the 1st, we're going to look back at how many activations you did in the month of January and December. If that is 10 or more, you will then remain in partner for February. If you've done less than 10, you will go into the agent status. But for the very first 3 months, folks, you will remain in partner. Because, of course, you don't have a back book. It would be very unfair for us to, penalize you guys. Cool. So now we're all clear on the programs. What do they mean? So let's work that out first of all. So, as we mentioned before, just as a recap, you can get paid on commission, hardware, software, residuals, and referrals. And I'm going to go into those in a bit more detail shortly. So here's the difference between partner and agent. Now, partners get what we call a partnership with SumUP. So we will give you 50% of the annualized net revenue, hardware earnings, software earnings of what SumUP expects and gets. We will give you 50%. That's the equivalent of essentially what our current scheme's top echelon is. It's a gold tier, is essentially what we call it now. So you will get 50% of the annualized net revenue. What does that mean? Essentially, that means SumUP will look when you sign up a deal. It will take a snapshot when that deal's done a few transactions. Well, after a month, it'll take a snapshot. And it will see what it thinks that deal's worth for SumUP for the first year. So we'll get a pot of money that we think we're going to get from that merchant. We will give you 50% of that yearly net revenue upfront as commission. Because we think they're going to earn X amount for us, we'll give you half of it. And I'll give you some examples in a minute. We'll give you 50% of the hardware earnings, 50% of the annual software. So if you sell a license, we'll give you 50% of that. And you'll get 25% of the monthly revenue in residuals as well. So every month, your customers in the back, if you signed up 5 to 10 customers, they're all processing turnover in the background, right? They're earning some money, let's be honest, we're earning off their fees. We'll give you 25% of the earnings that those customers are making SumUP. We'll give you that as well. Plus, you've also been paid half of the upfront commission. If you fall into agent, you would get 40% of the annualized net revenue, 40% of the hardware, 40% of the software, and you wouldn't qualify for earning residuals. Please keep that in mind.
The residual commission, is that for as long as you stay in the company's employ, or have a consultancy agreement with them?
Cool. So let me park that right there. I'm going to go into these in more detail. So this is what you get as a high level, and I'm going to go break them down now one by one. So I will answer your question, but I'll get to that when it comes to the residuals. But
okay.
Also, by being in partner, you get benefits, right? One is you will qualify for teleappointers. So we have teleappointers in SumUP who ring, businesses all over the country. And if they happen to ring a business near you and you've qualified as partner and that lead qualifies for you, your TM will pass that lead over. And then instead of you having to cold call, you walk into a business that's already expecting you, right? Much easier, warm lead, much easier sell. You can sell doing carry and sell. So carry and sell, of course, is the process of actually holding the readers. You can order more hardware. You can order hardware and sell card readers face to face. That is what we call carry and sell, of course. You can do that if you're a partner. You will also be invited to SumUP events. So if we're doing any big field events, a big Christmas party, a summer party, you'd be invited to those too. And you also get an additional £150 bonus, paid on top of all the residuals. You get an extra 150 quid. So Brucey bonus. If you're an agent, you wouldn't qualify for these additional benefits. You wouldn't get the teleappointers. You cannot sell via carry and sell. You wouldn't be invited to the parties, and you wouldn't get that monthly bonus. In this case, if you had a stockpile of stock at home, card readers, and you then fell into agent, you could still sell those face-to-face, but you wouldn't then be able to order any more. You would have to instead order hardware to be shipped to the merchant. We would remove that sort of luxury of them ordering them to you. So I just want to make sure everyone's clear on that. So there's two ways, of course, we sell. We either sell face-to-face by giving the reader to the merchant and charging them for it, or we can sell by shipping the reader to the merchant's address. If you fall into agent, so out of partner, you wouldn't be able to order hardware to yourself. You would have to order it to the merchant and then go and install it there until you became a partner again, in which case you could order more to your house. Can I just make sure we're all clear on that? Thumbs up, cross, down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, I'm now going to break these down in more detail. By the way, folks, I encourage questions at this point. So if there's any questions, please jump in, raise your hands, stop me if you're a bit unsure. So in this example, I'm going to assume that you're a partner, because you are. You're all partners. So first and foremost, we pay you an activation bonus. So we pay you what we call an activation bonus when the merchant processes the first £500. So you go sign up a merchant, and they do their first transaction probably while you're with them, right? You should always do a transaction with them just to activate the reader. That starts day one. Now, the merchant has up to 30 days, so from day 1 to day 30, to process the first £500. Once they do that, you then qualify for your activation bonus, and you are then paid £300 in the next weekly commission run. Now, remember that I said that ICP? Can anyone remember what number I said our ICP is, our ideal customer target sort of turnover is? Can you remember what I said?
15 grand.
15 grand. Now, if you divide 15 grand by 30, that is how much they're processing a day. So it will not take them long to hit this. They probably will hit it either the day you're with them or the following day, if not the day after. This will not take them long to hit. Of course, if you sign up a very low customer, then they're going to take longer. But for folks, just to remember, your activation bonus is £300, and that is paid to you when your merchant processes the first £500 within 30 days. The reason there's like that 30-day sort of caveat is we need to make sure, of course, merchants that we've signed up are actually using us. We don't want to be giving readers to people that are not actually using us. Okay, that's why that's in there. Now, these bits are a little bit more complicated. Let me slow down and explain. Now, the way we pay your commission, we pay you based on this little formula here. So it's the net revenue, which I'm going to explain in a second. That's the expected money someone thinks it's going to make from a customer, times 12. So we look and think how much profit someone's going to make within a month, and then we multiply it by 12 to get an annualized amount. That gives us a yearly total. Now, as a partner, you get 50% of that. Now, before I go in and explain that, let me just explain what net revenue and net margin is. Let me show you. Before I do that, one small caveat, folks. I'm sure Andy's mentioned this. If not, I will mention this very clearly now. Guys, you cannot sign up any merchant who processes less than £5 a month. If you do that, you're putting yourself open to what we call clawbacks on your commission. So you might get paid your £300 here, but if then we check it and they've done less than £5 in a month, you open yourself up to come back and claw back your commission here. So please just don't put yourself in that situation. If there's any businesses out there, merchants doing less than £5, just leave them alone. Signpost the website, focus on those higher merchants, right? If you're hitting 15K, you're not going to come across any 5Ks anywhere. But please make sure you're only signing up businesses that process more than £5 a month. Okay. Let me explain net margin and net revenue. So remember when I said before, at the beginning of the call, we pay you based on what SumUP actually processes. So how does this work? Sorry, we pay you based on SumUP's actual profits. Let me get my words correctly. First of all then, so let me explain what net margin is. Now, you know the rates that you've been through this morning, yesterday when you went through your pricing and you get to pick the different rates that you put a merchant on. Now, the way this works, of course, is if I go to a customer, if I'm a merchant and Callum, for example, comes to me and buys something through my reader, he taps his card and spends £10. My £10 flies over to SumUP. SumUP then takes off the fees and sends me the rest back, right? Everyone pretty clear on that bit? Yeah, so SumUP extracts that percent off, whatever that is, keeps it, and then I get the rest. As a merchant, that's all I care about. When SumUP extracts that amount, so in this case, 1.19% is the rate we've put them on. So we've put the merchant on 1.19%. That 1.19%, whatever that amount is, gets extracted off that payment and the rest is sent back to the merchant. Now, of that 1.19%, the rate we put them on, SumUp doesn't keep it all, right? SumUp has its banks to pay. It has scheme fees. It has Visa. It has all these big banks and things in the background it has to pay. Now, on average, this is not specifically correct because it's different per card. You know, MasterCard charge more than Visa. Credits are more expensive than debits. On average, it's around 0.4% is what it costs us to process a transaction. Therefore, SumUp's left with a percent after the rate. Now, we call this the net margin because this is the profit that SumUp keeps afterwards. So SumUp takes the fee off the merchant, the percent. It takes another slice of that and pays off its banks, you know, all the other companies. And then it keeps the remainder. And that is what we call net margin. Again, I'm going to pause there. Any questions on that, guys? Is that clear? Yes? No? Maybe?
Yes, it's clear.
Are we clear on that? Easiest way to remember it, it's just the profit SumUp makes after it keeps its paid its banks and whatnot. Easiest way to think about it. Now, this is the net margin. Now, again, the net margin percent differs per card. So a Visa International card will cost different to a MasterCard credit, which costs different to another card, which costs different to another. So what SumUp will do is it will take an average of all of your merchant, your individual merchant, all the different cards that are going through. But that is what we mean by net margin. Net revenue, okay, is just simply this rate times their turnover. So we multiply it by their turnover, and that's when SumUp starts to look at how much profit it's going to make. So we look at how much they're pushing through, what the percent rate profit going to be is of net margin, and then we can annualize what SumUp thinks it's going to get from that merchant. Okay? So that's what we mean by net margin and net revenue. Now, you guys, we're going to give you access to a dashboard where you can see exactly what is happening on all of your customers. You can see what customers you've got, you can see who's signing up what, you can see who's processing what. So you'll be able to see exactly what the net margin is of your own customers. You'll be able to see exactly the profits that SumUp are looking at making. And of course, we pay you based off that. All right, so now we're clear on what net margin is. Let me run through those numbers before and explain how we then work out your commission. So, in this example here, I'm going to use a merchant that we predict, I expect as a rep that they're going to do 15K. I've spoke to said merchant, I've looked at their statements, and they're going to do 15 grand. In the example I'm going to give you, I've put them on a rate of around 1.1%-ish. Therefore, the net margin is 0.7%. Remember, you take about 0.4% off. Therefore, the profit SumUp expect to make will be 0.7. So 15K merchant with a profit net margin of around 0.7%. Everyone okay and clear with those numbers, first of all?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the example. So, day 5 comes around. Well, day 1 comes around, I sign them up, I do my first transaction. Day 5 rolls around, the merchant processes the first £500. Perfect. I can get paid £300 as my activation bonus. That one we're all clear on. Very easy to follow.
So,
Go on, Mufti. Sorry, go ahead.
Daniel?
Did you have a question?
If the merchant completed £500, let's say within a week, yeah?
Mhm.
So the 300 bonus will be paid beginning of next week to us or end of the month?
So you get paid weekly. I'll come on to when you get paid in just a second, but you get paid weekly. All right. So whenever you get paid, whenever they hit that first 500, you'll get paid the week after, essentially.
Okay. Yep.
You get paid on the Thursday, though, not the beginning of the week. So today, right now, today, we're paying all the people, all the reps that's activation bonus was a hit last week, is what we're paying today, because today's, of course, is Thursday. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so now we've seen the activation bonus. What SumUp now will do is this will happen for all of your deals. We will look at day 30. So for all of your deals, this, of course, won't happen all at the same time, because if you sign up a deal today and sign up a deal in a week, the day 30 for those is obviously a week apart. But we will look at day 30 of that deal's lifespan. So between days 1 and 30, we are going to take a snapshot at day 30, and we're going to look at how much processing went through that reader. How much turnover went through that card reader between days 1 and 30. That's what we're going to do. That's how we work this out. So we see how much turnover flowed through your card reader between days 1 and 30. and we capture that number at day 30. As I mentioned before, we're paying you based on what they actually process. So day 30, we look at them and say, okay, cool. We can see that the merchant you've signed up processed £10,000. We'll also look at what their net margin percent is. So based on all the different cards that are processing through, every single day, we'll be able to see, SumUp will see the profits it's going to make based on that net margin percent and make an average. And it sees that in this example, the net margin is 0.7%. At day 30, we essentially take a snapshot of your deal. We see that it did 10K, and we see the net margin amount. We multiply these together. We then times that by 12 to get a yearly amount, not just a month, but a yearly amount. That's the annualized profit SumUp expects to now make based off your merchant, based off the turnover they've done and the net margin it's processed. Therefore, in this example, based on 10K and 0.7% net margin, SumUp believes the annualized net revenue is £840 for this deal. As a partner, you get 50% of that, right? You get half of the profits that SumUp make. So you're owed £420. Now you've already been paid £300 over here. So we won't pay you the £300 again. Instead, we'll take that off the £420 and we'll pay you what's owed. So we'll pay you £120 as a top up at day 30. Okay? That is how we run the commission. It's how we run the sort of maths in the background. Now, you don't need to try and work this out in your own head. If you trust SumUp to do it correctly, which I hope you will do, SumUp's just going to be doing this in the background all the time and just keeps paying you automatically. But I just want to be clear that this is how we do it. So you're very, assured. Yes, Fiona, go for it.
I wanted to ask, this top up, is that at the end of the month or at the end of the year when the merchant has done all of these numbers?
At day 30. So at day 30, we'll look at what they've done and we multiply it by 12 to try and get an average for you. So we get paid one when they process the first £500, and then you'll get your second top up at day 30. Straight so whenever day 30 hits. Now, does that make sense? Yeah, cool. Now, if you remember, when I first started explaining this, I said I thought they were going to be a 15K merchant, right? But it turns out they are. But in the first month, they actually didn't process as much as we expected. They had a slower ramp up, and that can happen. Now, if we didn't then do anything about that, we kind of lost out a little bit here, because we've paid you based on the assumption that they're a 10K merchant. They've done 10K in the first 1 to day 30, okay? They're between day 1 and 30, they did 10K. Therefore, we're expecting they're going to do that every single month. That's how we come to a number of 840, right? And we're going to pay you 50% of that. Well, what we'll also do at day 60 is we'll do another snapshot, and we'll take another look at the business. And this time round, we'll capture the same numbers. We'll look at how much they processed though between days 31 and 60. In this case, in this time around, they actually processed the 15 grand. They ramped up as we expected. They kind of gone back to what I wanted it to do. They had a slow month here, but they're back to where they are now at 15K. Well, the card split and the card share and all that good stuff is still the same, 0.7% net margin. That's not changed. What SumUp now will do is the same maths. It will run that 15K, times it by that net margin percent, multiply it by 12 to get the annualized net margin amount, net revenue. And this time now, SumUp thinks that this merchant's actually no longer worth £840 to SumUp, but now worth £1,260. Well, great news is, you're still a partner, you get 50% of this new amount. So now we owe you £630. Well, you've already been paid your 300 here, you've been paid 120 here, so we're going to top you up the remaining amount, which is £210. So we essentially are not going to try and hold back and hide money from you, or if your merchant has a slow burn to the start of the month or anything like that, you're not going to get punished. You've got this backup top up here just to safeguard you as reps to make sure you get the full potential in earnings from that merchant. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, had the merchant in this case done the full 15K here, well, the full 15K here means the full 1260 would show here. So you'd have been paid this full £630 at day 30, well, minus the 300 here. So then you wouldn't get a top up here. The only reason you get a top up at day 60 is if the turnover or the net margin increases. We top you up if that increases. It's more like a safeguard for yourself. Think of it like a net, and we catch any remaining commission and then pay you. If the business just projects and hits what it's supposed to at day 30, you're going to get the full whack then anyway. So you don't need to obviously worry about not getting paid for 2 months. The reason we have this sort of extra one is if those businesses that you sign up have that slow start. It's got like again, think of it like a net, right? It catches any lost commission, pays you what's owed. So we pay you the activation bonus, we pay you at day 30. If there's anything that wasn't paid at day 30 because they had a slow burn, you'll be topped back up at day 60. And I'm going to pause there because I appreciate there's a lot of numbers flying around, and this might be so people's. But I've explained this more than I expect. So please, I encourage questions, folks. Do we want me to run through that one more time? How are we feeling? Callum, go for it.
So say now the business plummets and like just tanks in the 60 days after the first 30. Would you get like penalized at all or no?
Nope, no, not at all. If you get paid. If it was the other way around and they did 15k here and 10k here, you've already been paid. We won't pull back. We'll only pay you more if it increases. We won't pay you less if it doesn't.
Okay, brilliant.
Or try and get money back from you.
Okay, thank you.
I've never had anybody explain a commission plan so thoroughly. Bearing in mind I come from a photocopier sales background there.
Did it make sense? That's the question, Martin.
Yes. Yeah.
Good. I want to make sure I've explained it a lot. The other thing I want to call out, if, for example, and then Yusuf, I'll come to you. If, for example, I only did 6k here, right? 6k, 8k, doesn't matter. They go on to do 50 grand, 70 grand, 90 grand in month 2. Well, guess what? The 90k times the net margin times 12 just means this number's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We only subtract off what you've been paid, so you'll still get paid the massive increased amount. If they go on to increase month 2 and ramp up and do tenfold, you'll be paid based on that. We wouldn't hold that back. There is no cap to the amount of earnings you can get from a single deal at either point. Okay? The only thing to keep in mind is if you've been paid already the full amount at day 30, you wouldn't then get a top up because the net revenue is not increased. So just keep that in mind. Yusuf, you had your hand up, so I'm going to come to you. Go for it.
Well, it was technically what you just said there. I was going to ask, right, if you get a full amount, let's say day 30, but day 60, like it's a seasonal business, I don't know, they're selling some Christmas stuff now, and it tenfolds, like you said, will you still be getting paid on day 60, or is it,
Yeah. Exactly. We don't know what the full amount is, right? We just look at what it did on day 30, 18 days 1 and 30. Great, they did X amount. Fantastic. You get paid based on the turnover times net margin. Sorry, turnover times net margin times 12. You get paid 50% of that. Day 60, we don't even look at what kind of business it is or anything like that. We just look at those numbers. We look at the turnover, we look at the net margin, we multiply it by 12. If that net revenue amount, so the after number here, is higher than it was at this point, you're then paid an uplift. If it's lower, nothing happens. You've already been paid at this point anyway. That's kind of the way to look at it. If there's an increase, or if it's the same or it's lower, you don't get penalized. If it increases to the point where we kind of owe you more money, then you will be paid. And there is no cap on how much it can increase by. So like you said, if it's a Christmas shop and they do a massive amount in day 60, perfect. You're going to get paid.
Great stuff.
Perfect. Yes, Ian, go for it.
That's, I guess, I think you already answered what I wanted to. I wanted to understand a bit more if on day 60 they make something so massive and you've already been paid, say, just like the 10K worth on the 30. How much? Maybe if you use a practical example, let's say day 30, it was 10K as repair, and on day 60, they make, say, 60K, that's, I don't know, broader, they make 60K. How much would you be paying as a top up?
So we can run it ourselves, can't we? We can run it in a calculator. So if I just, let's do this. Right, let me do this. Oh. Can you all see my calculator?
Yeah.
Working in the middle of the screen. Perfect. Okay, cool. So in that example, we're going to assume a 0.7% net margin again, Ian. That's all right. That's again assuming that card split. So we'll put them on a rate of probably about 1.1%. So in this case, it would be the same here. I don't need to work it out. It's just in the screen. But 10K times 0.7% net margin times 12 is at £840. So if I do it in a calculator, it's 10,000 times 0.7, hit percent, change it to a very small number. Is that times 12 is 840. Okay. That's the annualized net revenue SumUp expects to make from this merchant. You, of course, get 50%. If you then said, okay, well, what if we went up to 60K in this month? Well, it's the same thing. 60K times 0.7, 8%. That's the monthly net revenue. We want to times it by 12. Get the annual. You get paid half of this. So you're owed £2,520. Of course, we've already paid you at day 30, and we've already paid your activation bonus. So we just subtract whatever we paid you. So we'd subtract 300 because we've paid you at that point, and we'd subtract whatever we paid you at day 30. So we've only paid you £120 at day 30. You're losing 300 plus 120, and then you get paid the rest. So the 2,000, whatever that is, 100 something.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So we're not holding back. Like I said, think of it as like a catch. That day 60 is a catch. So basically, catch it in case anything ramps up. We actually expect that most of the time you're going to get paid the full amount at day 30. Because if you walk into a business and they've already got a card reader and you swap it out for SumUp, but the likelihood is they're going to probably do the same that they did last month as they're going to do this month. It's only in those outlier cases where they have just a huge second month, or they have a really slow start. Maybe it's a brand new business, or maybe they've gone for a renovation and things are picking up. That's why that day 60 exists. So you're more likely going to get paid at day 30. Think of day 60 as a secondary top-up. Any other questions on this bit, folks? Really important we understand this. Yes, Yusuf, go for it.
Look, I've got a question as well. One of my family members, they've just bought over a business. It's a restaurant that used to operate from around 3 o'clock until 10 o'clock, so about 7 hours. And it was shut Sundays and Mondays. So they're expecting obviously lower income in the first couple of months, but down the line, that's going to project it to be higher. So my question is, could you, well, this is more subjective and it's personal. If you know someone's business is going to grow, right? Let's say the first months they're making like 5, 6, 7, and you're expecting to double that or triple or whatever because they're changing stuff around. Could you still sign them up, sort of expecting that growth, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, so the question, I guess, is absolutely sign them up straight away, right? Sorry, let me caveat that. If they're not going to be doing 5K, you cannot sign them up. If they're going to start off doing 1 or 2, and then they're going to move into maybe 7 or 8, please only sign them up after they've done the 5K. Just do not put yourself in a position where SumUp has an opportunity to say, in your contract, you sign a deal that's less than 5K. I'm saying this is to safeguard you guys. I just don't want an opportunity where SumUp's saying, hey, we have to claw back because it's in your contract. So just do not sign anything less than 5K.
And how would you deal with new businesses?
In new businesses, they're always going to have some sort of projections, right? In order for a new business to be on the high street, it's probably taking out considerable loans to get there in the first place. They've had to go to a bank, get a loan. They're going to have business projections to know why and, to expect to make X amount of money to pay that loan back. No one just goes and signs up a business if they do it. Especially if you go to the high street, I can assure you most businesses on the high street will do more than 5K. It's only a really tiny market stalls are going to be doing less than that. Or rent-a-chair hairdressers may do less than that. Most high streets will do the more than 5K. But if you come across a new-to card, one that doesn't have a reader already, just say, do you have business projections? You got any sort of expectations, what you know over the next 12 months, next 6 months? If it's making out that it's more than $5,000, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Alan,
go for it.
Thank you.
No worries.
I just had a question after what Yusuf said there. Wouldn't it be real if we think that a business is going to get a lot more money in the next coming months? Wouldn't it be more beneficial to us to wait to do that, to sign them up?
No. The reason I know what you mean. Well, I want to catch the day 30 and 60 at the peak, most opportune moment to the most amount of money, right? Well, one, you risk another provider coming in there and catching them. You risk another SumUp rep potentially coming in and signing it, which you don't want to do, which is unlikely what could happen. You risk another competitor coming in and signing them up, which means you get 0. And we're going to pay you based on residuals. Now, residuals are your passive earnings based on what they're actually doing. So if you sign up a business that's doing 50 grand, 50 grand, 50 grand, and then 2 years' time, they're doing 250, 400, whatever, we're still going to be paying you based on what they're actually processing. And that increases. Therefore, we pay you based on what they do. So if they increase, your earnings increase. So it still makes more sense to sign it up now. The only time I say wouldn't sign up a deal is if you go to sign up a deal and they're like, oh, we're not going to use the reader for the first 6 weeks. At that point, I'd be like, okay, cool. Well, this is the deal that you're going to get. I'm coming back in 4 weeks' time and I'm going to sign you up and this is what you're going to get. And I would make sure they stick with me. But I wouldn't sign them up if the period between me putting the first transaction through and them actually going to be using it exceeds more than a couple of weeks. I wouldn't then risk it because otherwise you're not going to get this, right? Because you have to process the first £500 within the first 30 days. So just remember that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes, Martin, go for it.
My main business consultancy is for the stove and flue and chimney industry. They do jack shit over summer, but a lot over the winter season for obvious reasons. So would it be better to sign them up mid-season? I know when we are mid-season now, so it's not a problem. But would you avoid signing that kind of merchants up over summer?
There's no business I can really think of that I would avoid signing up personally, because like I said, if you miss the season, imagine you've got like a seasonal business and you've just missed the season, and instead of wanting to wait another 9 months to go back and sign them up, if you just sign them up now, got paid, you would also earn the residuals for the next 9 months from that merchant being with us.
You wouldn't get penalised for them being under 5k.
Well, that's the issue. That's the caveat, right? So if they're going to be less than 5k, then you are right. We couldn't sign them up. If you've got a really, really outlier seasonal business, like a Christmas tree shop, that there's like massive amount and like zero the next month. Well, actually, no, because they have a garden centre, but like that kind of business,
Yeah.
please refer to your manager. The ruling that I will put across to you guys is you should not sign up anything that is less than 5k. If it comes to it, by the way, here, they don't do the first they do £500, right? In the first 30 days, and we pay you that 300. If at day 30, when we take that snapshot, they've not done 5 grand, SumUP in its T's and C's with your contract has the right to come back and claw back this commission. So please, that's all I'm saying, just do not put yourself in that situation. If you've got very much outlier situations where it's like a festival and they're only going to survive for 1 month, that's when you should be speaking to your manager and just saying like, look, this is the situation. I'm signing Glastonbury up, for example. Of course, we'd want something like that, but can we have a chat about what's going to happen here? And then they will help you out. But a regular brick and mortar business should always be doing more than 5k. So just keep it that way. I'm going to take one more question on this, guys. I don't want to cut anyone off, but I'm just conscious I've got quite a bit to go through. So Callum, take it away.
Sorry, but just for a quick clarification, so if you're an agent, do you get 0 residuals?
Yes.
Right.
0 residual.
So say now you fall really ill, you're in hospital for 2 months. All them sales you've made before and you got residuals before, would they then come back if you then get out of hospital or something and then get back to being a partner, or is they then gone as soon as you lose that partnership?
Cool. Let me come to residuals in just a sec. I'm going to cover it in just a few minutes. It's on the next couple of slides, and I'll come to that. It's a very good question. Folks, on this bit, if you was an agent, you would, of course, these numbers would be 40%. You're not getting 50% of the annualized net revenue, you're getting 40% instead. So just keep that in mind. Agent gets 40, partner gets 50. So in this example, the overall earnings for this merchant was £630. If you was an agent, you would have earned 504. All right, so let's talk hardware and software. Now we've talked about the actual payments. You also, on top of that, what I've just mentioned, will get, if you're a partner, 50% of the hardware that you sell. So if you sell a terminal, if you sell a solar, or if you sell a POS light, you'll get 50% of the upfront cost pre the VAT amount. So for example, if you was to sell a terminal at £100, you would get £50. Of course, terminal is more than that. We're just assuming you've discounted it. If you discount the terminal by 25%, by 10%, of course, the overall upfront cost of the reader comes down. Therefore, the earnings you make come down. But just remember, as a partner, you would get 50% of the upfront cost of the hardware. This includes terminal, the solar, and the POS light. If you was an agent, you would get 40%. So in this example, if you sell the reader at 100, you get £40. If you sell POS Plus being the annual plus subscription, if you sell that at £19 a month, you get 50% of the yearly amount. So it's £228 a year. We would pay you £114 if you sell a POS Plus license. Again, if you're agent, you would get 40% of that amount, not 50. So it's just another, every deal you sign up should have a card reader on the front of it. So not only are you getting everything I just explained on the last slide, you're also getting 50% of the card reader. Of course, because you have to sell the reader in order to close a deal. Okay, let's talk residuals then. I know this one's something that we're all very keen to hear about. So residuals are a passive income. They are, in my opinion, think of it like your salary, right? This is the earning that you will make every single month based off your work you've done previously. So if you sign up 10 customers, 20 customers, now when you went through the bonus calculator that Andy took you through, you probably saw that some deals were worth like £25 in residuals, 30 quid in residuals. It don't sound like a lot individually, but 10 of them is £300. 20 of them, that's £600 in passive income. That's excluding any upfront commission, right? Once you've got 30 or 40 customers, you're earning more than minimum wage on just passive income. Not even the fact it's sales at that point, just on deals you've already secured. Once you've got like some of our reps at the moment who are earning 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 grand in residuals, you're earning way more than what most people earn on a salary, just based off residuals alone. So what are they? So residuals are where SumUP will pay you, looking back at your current customer base, based on the turnover they're currently processing. So how does that work? So at the beginning of each month, Martin, I'm using you as an example because I can see you on screen. You've got a deal, Martin. What SumUP will do is, it's been with us for X amount of time. At the beginning of the month, SumUP will look back at how much your deal processed for the month before. So we're in October. We'll look at what one of your deals in September, what it processed, and then we multiply the turnover by the net margin percent, because again, that's the profit SumUP's making, and that equals the net revenue. That's the profit SumUP took from that merchant that month. As a partner, we will give you 25% of that amount. So you get 25% of the ongoing earnings that SumUP make from your own customers. You get a quarter of that. Plus, you've also been paid 50% of the upfront commission, remember? You still get all that. You get 25% of the net revenue based on all of your backbook customers that are still with us, still transacting. Now, this lasts for up to 5 years of a customer's lifespan with us, which is actually probably more than what most businesses survive these days, because most businesses last, which I know is a sad thing to say, but most businesses do not last that long. So please don't look at that as thinking like a negative, because again, that covers majority of businesses' lifespans anyway. But 5 years is how long we would pay residuals for an individual deal. Of course, if you've been with us for a year, you're going to keep extending like new deals anyway, so you're going to always be earning residuals. Now, Mufti, let me come to yours in just a second.
Yeah.
As an agent, you do not get residuals. Callum made a really good point. What if you fell ill for a few months? Now, by the way, this is why we look at your program over 2 calendar months, because we understand that some reps go away for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? You know, you're self-employed, you're absolutely welcome to. If you was to go away for a month, this is why we don't do it based off the last month. We do it over the last 2 months, right? So if 1 month you have a bit of a slow month, you got the next month to really ramp up to make sure you stay in partner all the time. Which is why we do it over 2, not 1. But Callum, I'll answer your example. If you was ill for 2 months, for example, and you did fall into agent, think of residuals like a tap, right? So your tap's on and all your residuals are flowing. As soon as you hit into agent, the tap turns off. Now it's still building up. And as soon as you hit partner again, the tap turns on and all of your residuals start coming through again. Okay? You wouldn't be paid for that month, but you would still be paid off all of the customers you have. So we don't just start you from ground zero. We just continue as from where you was. How does that answer your question from before?
Yeah, that's brilliant, thank you. Essentially, just kick up the arse and just be like,
Exactly.
get back in gear, and you could have the world.
Yeah. There's nothing going to kick you up the ass like your manager saying, by the way, if you had made residuals this month, you would have earned $3 grand. Now you didn't earn it. Like, that's for me is a motivator in itself to not get ill, let's say. Yeah. So you'll be consistently putting deals on the card.
Yeah.
Of course, why do we do this? Why do we not pay agent? Again, it's to reward that consistency with SumUP, right? We pay you based on consistent results. You need to remain in partner to earn residuals. I'm going to come to this in just a second, but Mufti's got his hand up, so I'm going to come to you first. Go for it, Mufti.
Yeah, the residual will start after 5 years, or when that will start? You mentioned something about the customer.
So your residuals are paid
The
every
5-year
month.
duration.
Yeah, so we pay for a customer's lifespan of 5 years. So if you sign up a deal today, that customer will be eligible to earn your residuals from now up until 2030. Okay, at 2030, if you're still with SumUp,
after 5 years.
yeah, if you're still with SumUp and that customer still transacts after 5 years, residuals technically stop for that customer. But I imagine you've probably signed up a hell of a lot more customers than just that one in the last 5 years' time. So I assume that won't be an issue.
Got it.
Okay. Now, for you guys, you're new to us, right? Again, residuals, we talked about it before. It'd be unfair for us to put you into agent from the start because you're brand new. You don't have a back book. What we're also going to do is for the first 3 months that you're in partner, we're also going to triple your residuals for the first 3 months too. Because of course, by only having a few customers signed up, your residual pot is quite small. You've not been here as long as some of our reps who have been here 12 months who have a huge back book of customers. So to ramp you up quite quickly, any customers you're signing up within these first 3 months that are accruing your residuals, you're going to get triple residuals for the first 3 months. So fill your boots, right? Please go out and sign as many deals over these next 3 months as possible, ramp up and earn those residuals. And then at month 4, you might notice a bit of a dip, but you're also signing up more and more deals hopefully by that point. So your residuals will kind of like nicely go like that. Now, I want to just address what that means, because I know it's not very clear, it's quite vague. In order for us to also qualify residuals for yourself, customers need to remain active. What we mean by that is if you go and sign up 10 customers and 9 of them then leave, well, we've paid you all this upfront commission. What I mean by leave is after like 3 months, they all just decide to go elsewhere. Well, we've paid you all this free upfront commission. Something though for us isn't quite right. The deals probably aren't being signed up correctly. Therefore, you wouldn't then get residuals on your other 1 or 2 deals. In order to remain and keep residuals, you need to have an active portfolio of 80% or more. So of all of the customers you sign up, at least 80% of them need to remain with us. Now, natural churn, so that means customers leaving us, just off their own free will, because that happens. We understand there's competitors out there. Average is around about 5 to 6%, which is why it's not 100. So 80, you shouldn't really be nowhere near that. If you're falling below that 80, then there's something else going on there, which is why someone will stop it, because it wants to investigate why are we losing all of these customers that you're signing up. Is there something going on there? I'm not saying any of you would do that if there's any ulterior motives, but we just have to protect the company, of course, for obvious reasons. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, natural churn's about 5 to 6%. So even if you sign up all these customers and they just naturally, some of them start to leave, you will not be anywhere near that 80%. And if you fell below it 1 month, you just sign up some more deals and you'll pull yourself back out of that 80%. Okay.
You must have a data sense to work all this out.
Lots of data. We have how long have we been around SumUP now? Like 14 years, 13 years. It has tons of data across globally. So there's huge analysts that work in London doing all this numbers. So it's not me. I can assure you that. Okay. Now, one side I do want to call out before I kind of wrap us up. I talked to you a bit earlier about how you were going to earn up to 50% of the annualized net revenue. But if you actually take that customer example I gave you earlier, the SumUP net revenue for that customer works out to be £1,225. That's that 10k for month 1 and 15k for months 2 through 12. That works out £1,225. That's the profit SumUP's going to get, the net rev, let's call it. We're actually going to pay you, if you think about including the commission up front, which was 630 quid, and the residuals owed for the next 11 months, £936. You're therefore actually taking 75% of the net revenue from that merchant. So SumUP's not really going to be earning a lot of money because you've taken most of it, which is a good thing for you guys. And that doesn't even include the hardware or the software. So you're actually taking a very, very high portion of the pie. SumUP's only getting a little bit of the sliver. But this is why we want to make sure this is very competitive and we sign up the right reps, which are you guys, and we want you guys to stick with us, right? We want you guys to be assured that SumUP's being competitive against other providers too. Hence why we want to pay you so much. Now, The last thing I want to call out on commission is there are other ways to earn as well. You can refer inside sales, the POS Pro, the kiosk, or the QSR bundle. So not only do you get everything that we've just spoken about, you'll also get another £350 if it was a POS Pro deal. For every kiosk license you sell, you'll get another 350 quid. For selling them both, you get 700. So again, you can really start to ramp up those earnings. Okay, so what does a month potentially look like? Now, I've not gone and trying to pull massive numbers here, like, if you get 40 sales in a month or anything like that. I've aimed at 2 a week. Now, I know we say do 10 in 2 months to get yourself a partner, but why not push yourself a little bit more? If you guys can focus on 2 deals a week, right? Because, 8 divided by 4 is 2. 8 times that 15k merchant on a 0.7% net margin, assuming you're in partner, you would actually take home, if you sold the reader at the full cost, just under 700 quid in card reader commission, 2,400 in the activation bonus, and then 2,640 at those day 1360 top-ups. Plus, if you do just 2 POS lights extra, you'd get another 290 quid. So you'd actually take over 6 grand if you do 8 deals based off just that turnover of 15k. If you go and sign up a 45k merchant, 50k, 60k, of course you earn a lot more. That's not including residuals. So if you were to do that month 1, brilliant. Do that month 2, fantastic. Month 3, brilliant. You're also going to be earning residuals of all of those customers as well. So there is a lot of money to be made. Okay, cool. So I have kind of come to the end. Do I have any questions? I appreciate a lot of numbers floating around right now. So do I have any questions on what I've been through? Yes, Mufti, go for it.
The clawbacks, can you explain a little bit, please, clawbacks, how it works?
Okay, so yes, where am I? In short, do not sign up a deal less than 5k. If you don't, you're not going to be subject to potential clawbacks. If you do, you could be. That's the in short version. The long story, long version. When we pay you this activation bonus, so we give you £300 up front when they process the first 500, right? Yep. At day 30, when we take that snapshot and look at how much turnover they did, if they did between days 1 and 30 less than 5k, you are then subject and potentially subject to clawbacks by us clawing back this amount here. Okay. Because you should never have signed up in the first place. All right? Please do not sign up anything less than 5k. If you're signing up a new business and you don't know how much it's going to do, ask them for business projections. If the merchant doesn't know how much it's going to do, I'd be walking away because I don't trust that business. I wouldn't touch it personally because whoever that is, they don't know what's going on. Every business, I assure you, will know what they're processing. So just have that conversation.
And for some reason, you never know if the merchant cancel, let's say, after 2nd month or 3rd month, something like that, then what will happen?
Well, if it cancels after month 3, you've already been paid here, potentially been topped up here, and that's it. They've cancelled. Of course, if too many of your merchants cancel at day 3, then that could impact your residuals because we only pay you if you keep 80% active or more. Because then my question for myself will be, well, why are all my customers leaving at month 3? 1 or 2, that's fine. It makes sense. Then
so what's the market? I mean, in the market, why people are switching? Is there only the price or service?
That's a very broad question, but you're right. There's a lot of different reasons. Price, products, you guys as reps. I can assure you when you guys go out there and start speaking to some merchants, you'll get met with an objection. Sometimes that'll just be, I only deal with, and they'll just give you a name because it's the rep that they deal with. There's so many different things as to why a merchant would go with us for a reader. 1 is the product, 2 is the price, 3 is you, right? Of course, customer service is the thing as well. Some people don't like poor customer service, so then you've got to talk about that. There's many different reasons why a customer might leave. Could just be that, unfortunately, their business has failed, and then they have to leave for that reason, right? Many, many different reasons. Ian, take it away.
Yeah, so I had a previous customer of mine, and I was interested, but then she said on her current provider, she has like an ongoing loan, which will take a few weeks to pay off. She's above 5k, but then I was wondering, how does that work? Ideally, I believe I'm supposed to wait for the loan to get paid off completely, so she doesn't carry that over. What else? I just know. Is there any advice you would give regarding that kind of customer?
So if they've got a loan, so some companies out there, there's a company called ULend that do what we call business funding, where they'll kind of give funding to merchants. And so like, hey, I can see that you've been with us, been with your car provider for 6 months and you're processing 15 grand a month, therefore you're eligible to have a loan of X, right? And the way you pay that back is through your card reader.
Yeah.
I would avoid things like that at the beginning, especially for you guys. There are some circumstances where we'll bring that loan over to us, but it's very, very finite. It's just something that I would kind of avoid for now. You are right, that we need to kind of pay off that loan before we could really look at exploring that. Or they need to pay for it outright. Because generally speaking, when someone borrows through their card reader, they'll pay it back through transactions. We can do it, but we only really do it for existing customers, not for new customers. Because it's a bit of a risk to us to say to a brand new customer, hey, here's a lump sum of money. And then they could leave, for example, and it's just a pain. So I would kind of avoid them for now.
So if she says, oh, I finished paying that, because she said it's going to take like a few more weeks, that she's already at the end of the loan, is it still safe to go ahead and sign up once she's sure that she's done with the loan?
If she processes more than 5K, absolutely. Go
Yeah,
for it.
she does.
Then yeah, sign it up.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, folks?
No.
No? Okay, cool. I appreciate I've probably boggled some minds right now. There's a lot of numbers floating around. On screen, we have, I don't know if Andy, you've gone into too much in depth, and I appreciate your training a little bit more in led with presentations. This is something that I'll kind of touch on now before I hand back to Andy, who'll kind of like wrap everyone up. We have, if you didn't know, a system called Launchpad. Now, Launchpad, guys, is an e-learning platform. An e-learning platform is fantastic. Why? Well, it means that you guys get to go through content in your own way, at your own pace. Now, you've been stuck with me for the past hour, and you've had to go through this at my pace. Now, some of you, that'll have been great. Others, you might want to re-go back over this and do it in your own time. So, what I'm tasking you all with, and I will send you all individually your login details, I'm asking that you all complete for me the commission e-learning to really ensure that you fully understand this. Okay? Now, this scheme, folks, kicks off next Monday. If you was to sign up a deal between now and next Monday, and it hit a milestone, and it hits the first £500, the difference being, instead of being paid £300, you will get paid £200. Now, you don't miss out, because when it comes to day 30, rather than subtracting £300 from the overall amount that we owe you, we'd only subtract £200. So you get paid more at your day 30 top up. So there should have been no reason to stop you from going to sign up deals between now and then. Please don't think, oh, I'll wait till I get an extra £100. You don't, right? It just means that we pay you more at the end rather than at the beginning. So you think about it that way.
I've been assigned tasks by safety culture, and it's not recognising my login details for that. Is that the same platform as Launchpad or different?
It is. So Safety Culture is where we built it. That's the name of the platform. Launchpad is what we branded it inside SumUP. I'm going to individually make sure your accounts are working after this session and then send you all of your login details. So you'll have an email from me, which will have your email and password in there. And I'll also link directly to the course to make sure you complete the course for me. Okay? So please, folks, make sure you all complete it. The deadline for completing it for the whole of field is the 13th. So, guys, just get yourself a head start. Get it done maybe over the weekend or, whenever you want to on a Monday morning. Get it completed. Make sure you fully understand this content. It's your earnings at the end of the day. You don't understand it, I'll be asking myself, why not? Complete this. Absolutely. Is everybody clear on that on that commission e-learning, folks? Everyone clear on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some thumbs up from the other people. Yusuf, clear, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. A couple of questions, and I'm handing over to Andy because I'm taking over everyone's time here. So, Ian, go for it.
Yeah. So when did you say this deadline for completing the e-learning?
Yep.
When is the deadline?
Oh, sorry, 13th of October. It's a week on Monday, so you have plenty of time. But get it done sooner rather than later.
Okay, and then last question is, we don't have the card reader. I don't have the card reader yet, so at the terminal. So how do we meet up with the 6th October thing to sign up anybody.
Cool. So this actually, Andy, if I hope you don't mind, I'm going to get everyone on this call to order a reader through Sidekick right now because I'm not sure why they've not been ordered. So let's get that sorted. So guys, you've all seen Sidekick. I take it with Andy. So can you all do me a favor right now and head to Sidekick, and you're all going to place an order for a terminal and a solo to yourself. And I'm going to show you how to do that on screen. And then I'll come to you, Mufti, in just a second. Well, before, actually, while I'm doing that, can I just pause as well? Has anyone received any confirmation then for about card readers? Has anyone here received a text to say a card reader's on the way? Has anyone received a card reader? No?
No.
Okay, that's fine. That's feedback for our logistics team. So thank you for that. Authenticator. And I promise I will let you go after this. Yes, Callum? Your hand? Well, sorry, Mufti.
Sorry.
Callum, is your question about card readers or?
It's about that I can't. My phone's currently broke. I'm waiting till Sunday to get it fixed because I'm due a free fix. I can't use the Authenticator app.
Okay. Is there anywhere else you can get access to Sidekick or get logged in? Is it like your Authenticator? Like sometimes it says like I want to log in with a different way or something like that.
They want to text. They want to text the phone or call the phone.
Is there no like other way, like email maybe?
Nah, it's all saying enter code displayed in the Microsoft Authenticator app on your mobile device. I don't have my mobile device at the moment.
Okay. Might have to wait for you then, unfortunately. Might have to just hang fire for now. All right. So for everyone else, go Mufti. Sorry, take it away. Apologies. Mufti, go ahead.
Yeah, basically my I have login problem with the SumUP account. I mentioned to that login details are not working, so I have problem with the login.
Okay, so that's maybe one that me and Andy can take offline. For now, I'm not asking you to get logged into your SumUP account. I need you to get logged into Sidekick. Bit of a difference. So if I put in the chat, put a link in the chat, can you try and log into that for me? You should look a little like this when you log in.
What are we ordering, a solo and a terminal, is it?
Yeah, solo and a terminal, please, yeah. So, for the people that are logged in, I'll just show you then, I'll help anyone with any login issues. So, as you can see on screen, right here, in the top left-hand corner, these little 3 navigation bars. All you would do is go there, to inventory, order hardware, 1 solo, 1 terminal. Whoops, 1 solo, 1 terminal, hit review, and then hit order now. And then, yeah, as Amari says, as soon as you hit that, it will go to then pending manager approval.
Successful order.
Perfect.
Oh, manager approval. Yeah.
That's Martin done, Amari done. Callum, you can't, that's fine. Prash, Yusuf, Mufti, Fian, if you can let me know when you're done, that would be great.
I'm just doing it now. I want my address updated.
Yeah, it's done.
Prash, that's you done, yeah? Pending manager approval?
Yeah.
Perfect. Fian, Mufti. Mufti, can you get logged in?
Yeah, I'm trying. Just a second.
I'm still trying to log in. It's not allowing me, so I'm just trying to see if I can fix that.
Oh, you need to log in, because if you can't log into this, you can't process sales, so definitely need to log in.
Has Sidekick just recently become an app then?
Create an offer.
So Mufti, coming to you first. Mufti, don't create an offer. Go to the left where the little navigation bars are.
Yeah.
Yep. Hit inventory.
Yeah.
Order hardware.
Yeah.
Pick 1 solo and pick 1 terminal.
Yeah.
Review order. And complete it.
That's a solo, yeah?
At 1 solo and 1 terminal.
Okay.
And then click complete.
Yep. Review my order.
Yep, click done.
And order now, yeah?
Yep.
Complete. Done.
Perfect.
I'm done as well. It says waiting manager approval.
Brilliant. No worries. Martin, to answer your question, Sidekick is not an app, it's a web page. So you actually have to access it through a browser.
It is now. It's just asked me to install it while I was doing that.
That's news to me if that's an app. I did not know that.
It's on the desktop now.
Let's have a look. You've got blur on your screen. I can't see it, unfortunately. You can save web pages as browser icons. So you can do that. Like I have it saved as a browser icon there. Yeah, you can't see it.
What it is then.
That's probably what it is. Like, that's Sidekick for me there. Prashant, yes, go ahead.
I have an issue with my Sidekick app. It shows that my identity is in review.
What was that last bit, sorry?
So is my ID is in review. So I can
Sidekick shouldn't need your ID. Sure, you're not looking at the SumUP app instead. The SumUP app is what merchants see. Sidekick is what you use to process sales.
Oh, it shows same in the SumUP app as well. I just opened the app.
Okay, cool. So just don't worry about the SumUP app for now. Just Sidekick is what I want you to go on to. So the link in the chat that I've just posted. Hang on, Martin. I just want to give Andy a second just to wrap up. I know I've kind of derailed his little session here. It won't be much longer. The link I put in the chat, Prashant, is for Sidekick. Log into that, and that is what I want you to order your hardware through.
Yeah, I have done that. I just had an issue with the SumUP app.
Okay, cool. Perfect. That's fine. Ian, are you now done?
No, still on it. I'm trying to sign in with my phone number. I'm just going to take that in because it's not taking my email address.
Okay, that's fine. Ian, if you can try that after this as well. If you have any problems, just message me directly. But I'm conscious of time. I don't want to give away any more of Andy's time. So, folks, that is it from me for commissions and for getting the hardware ordered. If you have any questions on this, please reach out. Let me know. Complete that e-learning for me and look out for that email from me as well.
And from where the e-learning and those things, because I don't have access to SumUP website.
I'm going to email you, Mufti. Okay? I'm going to send it all in an email to your SumUP email. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I'm not taking any more time up, so that's it from me, folks. Andy, I will hand back over to you, who's, I think, going to wrap up, but I will let Andy do what Andy's doing. So see you all soon, guys, and I'll catch you soon.
Thank you, Daniel.
See you later. Thank you.
So now all your heads have been blown. It's down to me to finish off the week, and it really is a finish off the week for most of you. So, well done. It's been an emotional 3 days. And suffice to say, thank you very much for all your participation. And I'm just going to come to each of you, but I'm going to ask 3 questions. They are: what's your biggest learning this week? What do you want to achieve over the next 2 weeks? And what one thing are you going to work to improve next week? So think about all the things we talked about this week. I will go in order as I see on the screen, which will probably be in alphabetical order, so you probably work out that Callum, you can go first.
What's your biggest learning this week? Well, just the whole company in itself, innit? I've never seen anything like this at all. All of it is just a lot to take on board, but I've made a good note down of everything that has been said. So I'll just be taking my time now over the next 2 weeks to revise this and put it into action, really.
Brilliant. Nice one. Thanks, Callum. Ian?
Loads and loads of information. I definitely I've seen a lot of things that even in my personal selling, going door to door, a lot of things that I needed to improve on. So there's a lot of learning on that. For SumUP, a lot of understanding about what SumUP is about. Never heard about SumUP before now. And also learning about when you're making like a sales pitch, focusing on the value more than price. Yeah, price is the thing, but that's really stood out for me. Like there are a whole lot of other things that you need to also stress so that price then is like the icing on the cake. So that was big for me. What I want to achieve over the next 2 weeks. for me, what's key is I feel like all of this is still a lot of theory until I get on the field. So there's a lot of learning on the job to be done. So the next 2 weeks for me is learning how to put in practice everything, make the mistakes in code, and then just learn and get better at it. That's meet my team manager, yes, also next to over about this weekend or sometime next week. I'm not sure. What is one thing I want to improve on next week? How to use the terminal, how to get people on board. I need to get on that as soon as possible so I can learn as fast as I can. Yeah, that's it.
Ah, brilliant. Thank you, Fian. Good luck. Martin?
How much better than my POS SumUP are in terms of support? When I canvassed Belper High Street, I've just been going back through my diary. A few weeks ago, there's a lot of Dojo customers. So with what you told me about Dojo, I'll be revisiting them.
Yeah.
The commission structure, although I'd spoken to John a couple of weeks ago about that, I'd forgotten how quickly you can be earning good money. So to get paid weekly is going to give me solve some cash flow problems I've got at the moment. So that's great. And the cost comparison tool. Whereas I've got a price matrix for my POS, which is about 40 plus rows, and it's a bit of a finger in the air approach to giving somebody rates. The fact that that's a cost comparison tool gives you a tick for the appropriate rate. That's just that's so much easier.
It's good to know. Good to know. You are you're making sure I never go anywhere near my POS. Well, I had heard it. Thank you, Martin. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andy.
Mufti?
Yeah, as like others, definitely next week will be intensive study. Go wrap up things, revise, because like during training, there are many things we discuss. Still, we have to review so that we can answer quickly to the merchant as we are new to this field. So that would be target. And then after next week, catch up with the manager, set up everything, and go in the field.
Nice.
Try to catch with manager and visit 1 or 2 merchant with the manager to get an idea how they approach. And I think that would be enough. Then we can crush on.
Excellent. Well, good luck, Mufti.
Thank you.
Amari?
Afternoon all. My biggest learning this week, I'd say, is seeing how much SumUP has evolved from when I first started hearing about it in the market.
Yeah.
What do I want to achieve over the next 2 weeks? Just to get my head around the SumUP app, becoming confident using it. So when I'm demonstrating to merchants, it's like second nature. And I'm having to think about where things are or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then I'll put a few deals through SumUP as well. And then one thing I'm gonna work to improve next week. I think just getting familiar with systems, doing some applications, obviously working my way around the intranet for SumUP as well.
Yeah, I learn by doing. So you must be the same as me. Good luck, Amari. Prash?
Hi. My biggest learn was how important transparent pricing is to small business and how to confidently handle objections when they compare SumUP with the competitors. That's what I learned this week. So maybe next 2 weeks I want to focus on signing a few first new merchants. Yeah.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing that. Thanks,
Yeah.
Prash.
I'm just waiting on the terminus right now.
Well,
I just met my territory manager, so I'm confident I'm gonna get new clients for our business.
nice. Yeah, cool. Thank you, Prash. And finally, Yusuf.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Yeah, biggest thing I've been learning this week is obviously a company and sort of card machines and systems. I mean, I've been doing sales for a bit, but not card machines, so it's really good, and understanding that there's so much going into it, it's quite eye-opening. And what I want to achieve over the next 2 weeks is definitely sales. And I've set myself a challenge. I want to see if I can get 10 from just the people I know, with my surroundings, 10 sales through the door. I'm actually going to go to my uncle's shop on Sunday or Monday as soon as the stuff arrives, and then go from there. And the one thing I'm going to work on improving is my way around the whole sort of infrastructure it's got going on, learning all the systems, ins and outs, fully. So if there's any objections or any questions coming my way, I can answer them positively and quickly with showing that I've got good understanding of what I'm sort of technically selling. Yeah.
Nice. Well, good luck as well, Yusuf. Thanks, everyone. I've got one last favour, if you don't mind. We are always looking to continuously improve, just like you guys. I've just put a link in the chat, and it's to give some feedback on the training. It is completely anonymous. We're not interested in who's written it. We're only interested in what you've written. So we'd appreciate if you go tap on that link and give us some feedback. And then kind of one final, not piece of advice, but something that was really handy to me when I was starting out is get friends with your colleagues. You're not all in competition with each other. You're all out there on your own. I mentioned before I've got my work husband, which is Colin. We speak every day. We're a dojo colleagues, and we moved off to be brokers elsewhere. And he was a massive help ringing up and talking to people who are going through the same crap that you were every day, because it can get a little bit lonely. I found that hugely beneficial. So if you're anything like me, go ahead and do that. In the meantime, if you could fill that form out for me, that would be great.
Yeah.
You want to do it now?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, the link's in there.
That's me done the feedback.
Brilliant. Thanks, Yusuf. For those, as I mentioned earlier, for those that are FSP2, and I did mention who that was, you'll have an invite tomorrow morning to come and do the accreditation with me, so look out for that. For everybody else, very, very good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Andy. All the best to everyone.
And we will be receiving email from you, yeah?
Pardon? Say that again.
We will be receiving email for the tomorrow.
Yes, I'm doing it straight after this.
No problem. Thank you very much.
No problem. See you.
Yes.
Callum?
Is that 9 o'clock start tomorrow?
You're on mute, mate.
Oh. Yeah, is that 9 o'clock start tomorrow?
I can't do 9 o'clock for everyone, so what I'll do is I'll set some times. It'd be before 12 for everyone, so we don't do it all as one. We do it individually.
Oh, right,
So I'll
okay.
just make it one after the next.
Okay, that's fine.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, no problem. Good luck, Martin. Nice
Thanks
to meet
for
you.
your patience.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you, Andy.
All the best
Thank
for
you.
everyone. Thank you, Andy.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
Oh, hold on. Did you manage to get a recording of this morning's meeting?
Check your emails. I've sent it.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. I'll go through that now.
And David, your TM is trying to get hold of you, so you can give him a call.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks once again, Andy. See you
Okay,
tomorrow.
no problem. Yeah, bye-bye.
Try it.